We'll begin with some simple stretching. Get back far enough for everyone to see me. Before we begin, of course, I always forget to recommend to people, whatever concerns you've got, leave those outside. They will certainly be here when you get back. Exactly. We'll begin by interlacing our fingers, extend them above our head, and we're going to turn to the left and back to the right. And you're pivoting about your spine. Imagine it's an axis, and your hips and your shoulders are wheels that turn around that axis. And when you bring yourself back to center, I want you to open up on the right, scrunch a little bit on the left. Then we'll go over to the other side. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to keep our fingers interlaced and lean over like we're going to touch our toes. So when we do these exercises, look for tight spots through your muscles and focus in on those. That'll help those loosen up. Bring yourself back up to vertical. All right, and bring your hands out in front. We're going to do gentle circles with our hands or with our wrists. And switch directions. And then turn your hands to the sides. We're going to go up and down. Yep. And then forward and back. So that you're, yes, there you go. So you've got them. Let's see, I can move a little bit closer for everybody. Yeah, so we're just turning them from side to side. And my phone has failed on the video, so I'll re-record this later for everybody else. Okay, we're gonna make gentle fists, and we're gonna go in circles in one direction. So it's a lot like what we were doing with the hands open. The difference would be is it's gonna loosen up a wider, and switch directions, loosen up a wider range of muscles. All right, open your hands up, and now we're gonna do circles with the elbows. And then switch directions. All right, and then the shoulders. So you wanted to move at the shoulders. Don't shrug the shoulders themselves, move with the shoulder joint. And switch directions. All right, bring your arms back by your sides. Now we're gonna work on the shoulders. We're gonna lift and then drop. And you're driving this from the center. So the shoulder blades and the chest. Then we're gonna lift, take them back and drop them. And then switch directions. And when you get back to center, we're going to lift one side and then the other. So again, we're driving this from the center rather than lifting the shoulders themselves. And lift one side, take it back, and then drop it, and then lift the other side and take it back. And switch directions. So we're going to go forward this time. And when you get back to the starting point, we're going to take and swing our arms, alternate which one's on top. And again, you're driving this not with the arms, but with the back of the chest. And we'll bring those back down by the side. And we're going to take our hands and we're going to put those, the backs of the hands up on the hips. So this portion right here. Then take one hand, drop it. I'm going to take my left and I'm going to reach over wherever I can easily grab that arm. I'm going to gently pull that forward. So, and especially when you're beginning this, you may not be able to imitate what you see me doing. You want to focus in on the internal work. You know, so here it's not where my hand is in particular, but that I'm opening up that arm and the side. And then we'll do the other side. Get that back of that other hand on the wrist, and then grab the arm or the elbow and draw it across. Drop those down. I'm going to take my left arm. I'm going to put that behind my back, hold it with my right, and shift my weight to the right. And shift yourself back to center. I'm going to take that right arm, bring it across, grasp it, and shift to the left. Open up the other side. And shift your weight back to center. We're going to bring our arms around the front, cross one over the other, and keep going around. If you can reach your hand, that's great. Don't force it though. I couldn't do that initially. So with all of these, we only want to go to about 70, 80%. We don't actually want to yank and tighten things. We want to loosen those knots up. And then we're going to go around the other directions. I'm going to take one arm over the other. And if I can only get here, I can only get here. If I can get to here, great. Wherever you can get to. All right, bring those down. We're gonna back up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna bring one arm up over my head and push it back just a little bit, and then bring my hand around the back and grasp that arm. So you'll spot like this. So you've got that one elbow you started with that's up in the air, and the other one's acting as a weight. And I'm going to keep calling you Miss Krieger because I don't know your first name, but you're much more. Oh, you'll have to type in the chat afterwards, but you got much more flexibility with this than I do. All right, then we're going to switch. So we're going to bring that other arm up, you push it back a little bit, and then grasp it from the other side. Yeah, it's how you hold the hand. There's no exact right way. Sometimes I'll do this. Sometimes I'll do this. It's just that I'm holding it without squeezing it too hard. All right, so let's go ahead and bring those arms down. And let's see what's the best position for this one. I think if I stay here, this will work best. All right, so now I'm going to work on the neck. So I'm going to start by leaning forward, and I'm looking for a curve in the neck, not a hard angle. And the body is a lot like a balloon full of water, and we're aiming to loosen up the skin of the balloon, let that water flow. And then we're going to lean back. So be careful not to lean so far back that you compress the back of the skull. And bring your head forward, and we're going to look over to one side and perhaps up just a touch. And then we'll go over to the other side. All right, so bring your heads back to center, and we're going to look over one shoulder and then over the other shoulder. So, and again, as you're doing these things, focusing on those muscles, help them loosen up. This, for me, this one really gives me a sense of whatever tightness I've got in the back of the neck, particularly in the back left and the back right. Then I can focus in on those and loosening those up. Bring your heads back to center. And now we're going to do general circles in one direction. And then we're going to reverse direction. When you get back to center, we're going to open up one side and then open up the other. So with the idea of the balloon, it's as if our neck is expanding, opening up down into the neck and up to the base of the skull. And when you get back to center, we're going to do the same thing front and back. So opening up the front and then come back to center and open up the back. And bring your heads back to center. And we're going to work on the hips, so you'll need a piece of wall, a piece of furniture, something to give yourself a little balance because we're going to be on one foot. Yep, and if you position that chair, I think you just did it perfectly. So you got the back facing towards me, then you can just move to the other side for the second half of this. All right, so I'm gonna kick out to the side and around in a circle. And then switch directions. Okay, when you get to center, we're going to bring that knee up, out, and around. So with all of these, the focus is actually on the hip. So we're working on loosening up that hip bone in the socket. And we'll switch directions. So it's what's called a ball and socket joint. So it can not just move forward and back, but side to side and in circles in all sorts of interesting ways, but we don't normally use it that way. So these exercises help loosen that up. Okay, bring it down by your side. We're going to gently swing the leg forward and back. And then bring it back, and we're going to go to the side. And then bring your leg forward. We're going to again go to the side, but we're just doing it front. All right, so then we're going to turn and we're going to do the other side. Let's see, let's see if I turn that way, I'm a better shot for the camera. Okay, so I'm going to just take the leg, I'm going to again swing it out to the side and around. And then switch directions. Okay, when you get back to center, you're going to lift the knee up, go out, or lift the leg at the hip joint. So we're doing a vertical circle now. And then switch directions. When you get back to center, we're going to swing that leg forward and back. and then draw it back, and we're going to kick out to the side, swing it out to the side. And bring it to the front. We're going to do the same thing, swing to the side. Okay, so now we'll step away from that chair, that support. You want to put your feet side by side. And have you got any questions? Oh, okay. All right, so we got our feet side by side, hands up on the thighs, and we're going to go down. It's gonna, so like this. So we're actually pumping the backs of the knees. We're not using the kneecaps to do the work here. Okay, when you get back up to vertical, we're going to do the same thing, but as we're going down, we're going to take the knees to the side, bring them back to center, and as we come back up, we're going to bring them to the side and back to center. So it's a circle. And don't push this one farther than you can comfortably do it. And switch directions. And when you get to the top, we're going to go down the center. And then as we come up, bring our knees out and back. And then we're going to switch directions, go the other way. All right, and then come back up. So now we're going to work on our ankles. I'll back up. So now, hold on a sec. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my leg, extend it, but make sure I got a bend of the knee, and then I'm going to do circles with my ankle. So, and you don't actually need a support for this one, but it's helpful at first. And then switch directions. And we're going to take and just rest the weight on those toes. Open up the top of the foot, the front of the ankle, and there we go. And the front of the shin. Okay. All right, so then we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to take that leg and do circles with my ankle. And then switch directions. And then extend that foot out and put a little bit of weight on the top. Open up the front of the shin and the ankle and the top of the foot. Everyone's looking good this morning. Very nice. Okay, so bring that back in, and I'm going to readjust the camera. So this is the last portion of the routine. And with this last one, we're going to start by bringing our hands up, make some gentle fists. And then let me demonstrate it first. We're going to pull back on the kidneys gently, and that'll kind of curve the back around. And as we're coming forward, we're going to bring our arms in. So it looks a bit like this. And then we come back up. So I'm going to pull back gently in those kidneys. That'll open up the back, and then bring my arms around as I come down, and then reverse it as I come up. Okay, that's got you. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so I'm not really bringing all I'm doing is bringing my arms forward. I'm not actually bringing the hands closer to each other. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Okay, good. Okay, so bring yourself back up to center. We're going to bring those arms out in front like it's a big ball. And with this one, we're going to turn to the left. And when we come back to center, we're going to stop at center. So, and you're turning with your waist. Don't actually turn your shoulders, turn your waist to rotate. One of the things that we strenuously avoid in Tai Chi is actually twisting the back. That's a bad thing to do to the body in general. It's a good way to cause damage. And then we'll bring ourselves back to center, and we're going to turn to the right. So right and to center. Okay, there. I keep forgetting to be facing the camera when I'm demonstrating some of these. Okay. And when we get back to center, I'm going to keep going. And as I keep going, I'm going to raise that outside arm up to my forehead, and the other one I'm going to swing down. So it looks a bit like this. And again, I'm rotating with my waist. I'm not twisting my upper body. So one hand to forehead, one to tailbone. And bring yourselves back to center. And we're going to do some gentle shaking. We'll start with hands up through the arms, the shoulders, and the neck, through the chest, down through the waist and the hips, into the groin, down into the upper legs, backs of the knees, lower legs, the feet, and into the floor. And take a moment, pause, recenter yourself. So the weight balance, which I did mention earlier, we want to generally have our weight balance inside and out, forward and back. So our weight's falling through the center of the feet. And whoever's got some water handy, go ahead and hydrate. You want to flush that stuff we've loosened out of our bodies out. And this is one way to help it. It's also good to hydrate. Okay, let's do. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to play with that to get that as angled so I can get as close as possible. So, Susan, last week you dropped out right as I was starting to teach the beginning again. And Mary's not with us, so I'm going to take the opportunity to teach the first two parts of the form again, instead of starting with the second one when everybody's coming in cold. So, and you need a little bit of room. For the entire form, I'm doing in a very small apartment living room, townhome living room. So I've got about 15 feet front to back and maybe about 6 feet side to side. That's plenty of space, but make sure you got enough room. We're going to, okay, so whatever stance you're starting in, we're going to start by checking our stance again, that our weight is even front to back, side to side. Your toes should be touching on the ground, no pressure on them though. And then we want a nice vertical posture, so drop your tailbone or tuck your tailbone. I've heard it described both ways. And then imagine the string is pulling your head from above. So you're both anchored to the ground and opening up. Then we're going to shift our weight a little bit to the right because we're going to move our left foot. I'm going to bring that out to about shoulder width and then recenter my weight. So now we're ready to actually begin the first form. This is called opening form. And I'm going to, as I sink, I'm going to raise my hands and they're going to go up to shoulder, and imagine a ball is lifting those hands. And you get up to shoulder, and if your hands are stretched up or whatever, this is a good moment. Open those hands up so they should be basically level when you finish this. And then we're going to push that ball back down. So our hands will end up about shoulder, or excuse me, about waist height. All right, so let's back up, go through that again. So I'm just kind of my street stance, but I need to widen out for Tai Chi. So I'm going to take that left foot, move it over, and recenter myself. Then the actual form itself is the ball lifting the hands as I settle down. I'm going to get it to shoulder height. I want to make sure those hands are open. They should be, the fingers should be level. So, that looks better. Then we're going to push that ball back down. Okay. I'm going to adjust the camera again so you can see a little bit differently. Okay, so I move that foot out, then the ball lifts my hands. And if I've got them, I'm going to loosen them up a little bit, open them up, and then I'm going to push that ball back down to waist height. It's a very simple movement. You can actually just practice this all week long. So the ball lifts your hands up, and then you push it back down. So, and with Tai Chi, one of the things we want to work on is actually coordinating our breathing with our moving. So you can, depending on the circumstance, you can either breathe in now or exhale now and then do the reverse going down. But for basic practice, I would breathe in going up and then breathe out going down. Okay, so that's an opening form. I'm going to turn around. So the next form, the second form, is called passing ball. So to begin that, I'm going to begin on my right. So I'm going to shift my weight to the right and form a vertical ball. So it looks like this. I'm holding a ball, one hand's up towards my shoulder, another's down below. And then I'm going to take, let's see, I do need to adjust that camera some more, sorry. Okay, so you got that ball. So I've got the one hand above, the other below, kind of facing each other. And then our feet were about here. So let's just leave that ball there. I'll teach you the rest of that in a minute, but I'm going to take and shift my weight over to my right and move that left foot out and turn it. So now it's about a 45-degree angle. And so I'm basically replicating a triangle. I'm more stable this way. I've got 3 points like they say in geometry. Then I'm going to shift, just hold that ball for now. We'll just get the lower part down. I'm going to shift my weight to the left and bring that foot in. Then I'm going to shift the foot out, back out, and I'm going to come back and draw the foot in. And I see your hands, you're wanting to do exactly what we're going to be doing in a moment. Let's just practice this for a minute. So we're basically just bring that foot out, bring the other one in, bring the right one back, and then follow with the left. Nope. Okay, so we're back here where we've just formed that ball at the beginning of the move. And I've got my feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to take that right foot out to begin. So that's at a 45-degree angle. And then as I shift my weight like I did before, I'm just going to twirl that ball over and draw in the foot. Then as I go back, I'm going to turn the ball over again. So one thing was helpful for me as I was learning this was actually to imagine they're rolling around the ball, that they're actually, that's going to mean that they're facing each other. And Tai Chi talks a lot about Chi, about energy flow. So I don't know if it's just the psychological of talking about it, or if, as the Christian world talks, there's kind of a breath of God and everything. But my brain can, in some sense, feel that energy between the hands. Okay. Let me pause there and open it up for questions. If Susan, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, and you're good also? Okay, where are we on the time? Okay, wow, we are doing great on time. So we'll go ahead and walk through the whole form. And then I'll demonstrate this again. I will try and go back later in the week and actually re-record this whole thing and post it. So at least the two forms I just demonstrated so that people can practice it during the week if they'd like. There's already a video of the stretching routine that's available. All right, so to begin, again, we're just kind of standard, whatever's comfortable with our feet. And we're going to widen that stance out to the left and go into opening form. Okay, then I'm going to shift to the right as I form my ball. And then roll that ball over as I come to the left. And then as I go to the right, I'm going to roll it back over. And then Susan has the advantage, she's seen the rest of it. The next one we're going to do is called Parting Wild Horse's Mane. So, and just follow along as best you're able to. We'll go through each of these week by week over the next about 6 weeks. And I'll teach everyone the whole form. Okay, so that's Parting Wild Horse's Mane. Then I'm going to do single whip. So I've got a little whip here. I'm going to go to the left and push. Then I'm going to bring that right side up. Again, form a whip to do the single whip to the right and turn and shift my weight to push. Then we have cloud hands. Again, bring the foot up. And as I shift it out, I'm going to bring the hands past each other. I'm going to turn, bring them past each other. I'm going to come back and turn them over again and bring that foot over. And we've got repulsed monkeys. So I'm going to step back and push away those monkeys. So that's the second repulsed monkey. Then we've got brush, knee, and push, which is similar to the one we did earlier, similar to Parting Wild Horse's Mane, except the palm starts out down. And we turn, hands stay basically where they are. Okay, I'm going to bring it, I'm going to do it to the right. Brush, knee, and push. And we're through most of the form. I'm going to do lady weave shuttles. So I'm just going to bring my foot by my side and bring my hands down. Get my foot in position, and then as I turn and shift, I'm going to raise my arms, the outside ones more, turn the palms, and push. And then I'm going to bring my hands down again as I bring that foot forward, bring it out to the right. As I turn, I'm going to raise that outside arm, turn my palms over, and shift my weight to push. And we've got the last before the closing. Give you a little bit better view. Okay, so I'm just finished that one. Now I'm going to bring my foot up and form another little ball. Extend it out. Brush sparrow's tail, so my hands go up. I turn them over and come back. Put the palm on the back of my wrist. Push, open up, and come back. Push. And then I'm going to turn to go the other direction. So to begin it, I need to form that ball. Extend my foot, and then I'm going to go up the sparrow's tail, turn my hands over, come back down the sparrow's tail, turn my hands over to push, open them up, come back, and then push. And then I'm going to come back to close. So I need to come back to the center. And I'm going to bring my hands down, and cross them over, bring them up, open them up, and come back down. Okay, very nice.